So Trump continues his corrupt actions. Last night or today, the acting Deputy Attorney General, Emil Bove, sent the U.S. Attorney's Office in the Southern District of New York basically a memo advising them to shut down the case into New York City Mayor Eric Adams. The U.S. Southern District of New York is one of the most coveted U.S. Attorney's offices in the nation. They deal with some of the most high-profile public corruption cases, terrorism cases, and the fact that the DOJ is telling the U.S. Attorney office in the Southern District of New York to shut down this case is pure politicization of the Department of Justice. Well, why would they ask the U.S. Attorney's Office to shut down this case? They wrote this memo. It was not based on facts or evidence. They even said in the memo that they hadn't even reviewed the evidence that the U.S. Attorney's Office has against Eric Adams. They just want it shut down because he is up for re-election in the fall, which has no bearing on the case. That doesn't matter at all. And two, because he's being investigated and charged, he is unable to help the Trump administration carry out its immigration enforcement actions. These are ridiculous, purely political reasons to shut down an investigation. I'm telling you right now from my experience in the FBI and just knowing how the justice system works, if a U.S. Attorney's Office brings a case against somebody, you could be guaranteed they have the goods against this individual. U.S. attorneys will not bring a case to trial unless they are 95% sure they will get a conviction. And that's why in the federal system, a lot of times criminals will plead out because the case against them is so strong. So I'm guaranteeing you that the U.S. Attorney's Office has a very strong case against Eric Adams and any corrupt activities that he's been engaged in. So in response to this, the U.S. Attorney should really reject this request outright and publicly and then resign in protest. And others in the U.S. Attorney's Office should follow suit. Nobody should drop this case at the whims of the White House. Part of this whole corrupt scheme with the Department of Justice and the White House is the Trump administration has created a memo basically stating that they can contact the Attorney General about any criminal case. Most presidents in recent history have, well, pretty much every president since Nixon has stayed away from contacting the Justice Department and discussing specific criminal cases. Why? Because of the conflict of interest, the perception of the conflict of interest. The White House is political. It should not be getting anywhere near involved in criminal cases that the Justice Department brings. But this memo makes clear that the president has full discretion to talk to the Attorney General about any criminal case that he wants to. Further evidence that Trump plans to weaponize the Justice Department in multiple different ways. So this is a very dark day for the Trump not for the Trump White House. Well, it is a dark stain on Trump and the White House, but it's a very dark stain on the rule of law, on the Justice Department, and democracy in general. This is not how the rule of law is supposed to work. This is not how the Justice Department is supposed to work. But we're in uncharted territories, and we will see what happens this time. We'll see what the U.S. Attorney in the Southern District decides to do. And just stay tuned.